All right, so we made it through this particular section, which was just the basics, pretty much getting to know, getting our feet wet with the concepts of switching, some common commands. We learned how to manipulate and understand the election process, and we actually did it. We manipulated spanning trees. So this is just the start, the warm up. But this is very important. We need to understand that switches learn source MAC addresses, because I think you'll have to know that. Common commands. You need to know what to type on there. Pretty much it was the same thing. It was only those two new ones, which is IP default gateway and the gateway, which is your router, and then the IP address of the actual switch within the VLAN. And you can put an IP address within every VLAN, but you don't want to do that. You want to do it in the management VLAN, which in this case we left it as VLAN 1. All right, and that what STP is just a feature that switches bring, or that its iOS brings, that says, hey, we're gonna be watching for redundancy in our network, and we're gonna find out which is the best place based on these particular variables, whether it be lowest bridge ID, lowest MAC address, and then we're gonna block to create the root bridge, and then we're gonna block, right, based on highest MAC address or highest bridge ID, all right? And then if for whatever reason the tiebreaker is going to be your port numbers, right? As we saw in those two. So like, well, wait a minute. Or in the other one that had 3. It said, well, well, this one's facing the root bridge, so this has to be a root port. I'm going to block the lower port number or the port number on the bottom. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's lower or higher. But sometimes it comes down to the port, because the port has a higher. It will block the port with a higher MAC address. That would be the tiebreaker. But those are the variables that the STP election process has. But you see, when we configured it, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal, but it could turn out to be in a much bigger network if you're asked to do it. So be very careful. Obviously, we have calculators to do all this, or third-party software. Who knows? All right, but for the most part, spanning tree works on its own. It's on. It's always on, but you really don't notice it until you have redundancy and you type in show spanning tree and you take a look at what's going on. All right. Once you plug it in, I know you're not gonna have little lights like we have here in the packet tracer, but you do have lights on your switches. So when you plug in a port, you see it goes amber, and then it takes a little bit, it goes green, because it's waiting for that port to be turned. The spanning tree is looking at it, so it's waiting for it to see, okay, what type of device is connected to me. Is this going to be a block port? Is this going to be a designated port? Is this going to be a root port? What is it going to be? All right, so we do see that in the real world. All right, we do see it in the real world, and it is used for the most part. Okay, but there you go. The basics of switching, or the layer 2 concepts. We're not done with switching. There's still a lot more layer 2 information you need to know. So I'll see you in the next one.